こんにちは。This is TAKU channel. Today I'm going to react a video of 11 things not to do in Japan. Must see before you go. I've given a similar explanation before in this video here, but let's see what this one has to say. Also, it's a little old video, so on the contrary, it's interesting to watch it now. So let's get started.
Japan has a rich and complex culture that make it a favorite travel destination of many, but it also makes the country really easy for tourists to embarrass themselves in. Here are 11 things that you should absolutely not do while in Japan. Number 1. Don't tip. Tipping is not a part of Japanese culture, and someone will probably come running after you with your money if you do. Now in some restaurants you'll see a vending machine where you just insert your money and you choose whatever food item you want, so there's actually no waiter that you could tip. Either way, don't leave a tip because it's actually considered insulting to the waiter.
We all know this one by now. In Japan, the customer is God. So even if you don't get a tip, you must always treat your customer politely. Also, the wages at the restaurant in Japan is really low. That is why I think that tip system should be introduced in Japan like it is in other countries. However, in Japan, we have a habit of thinking that it is natural to prepare food politely because the customers are paying for it, just paying money. So if restaurants make some mistakes, the customer will be very gut angry, and the restaurant staff will have to apologize a lot. On the other hand, when you eat at a restaurant overseas, you may think that the restaurant staff is doing the cooking for you instead of you doing the cooking. That's why they thank the restaurant staff with a tip. However, in Japan, tip system is not necessary because we live in a society where it is taught that it is natural to treat customers with respect like God. Therefore, there is a tipping system. People who work in restaurants in Japan do not have to worry about the detail. Also, it's very good because it motivates the workers.
Number 2. Cover your tattoos. Tattoos in Japan are generally associated with criminals and yakuza. Because of this, tattoos are frowned upon in Japanese society, and most pools and bathhouses bar anyone with a tattoo from entering.
Oh, yes, it's true that very few people in Japan have tattoo. People with tattoo reminds me of yakuza. So there is an image that tattoo is so scary. Of course, there are many funny tattoos as I explained this video. But even if you have a funny joke tattoo, you can't go into onsen, hot spring, or swimming pool.
Number 3. Don't hand cash to cashiers. Now this may seem like a contradictory statement, but in Japan, almost every convenience store will use a tray that you're supposed to place the money on. This is used out of convenience so that the coins don't fall everywhere, and also so that everyone can see exactly what's happening with the money at all times.
I've never really paid attention to this one. I usually hand over money by hand. And since most of the people who work at convenience stores are foreigners, there are very few people who care about this.
Number 4. Japanese-only restaurants. Now this may seem kinda crazy, but some Japanese restaurants will not allow any foreigners into their establishments. That is because while the Japanese can be very friendly and welcoming, there are some aspects of their culture that make them a little xenophobic. There's really no way to tell whether or not a restaurant is Japanese only, but you'll know pretty quickly as soon as you walk in. Usually what happens is a waiter will wave his or her hands no, you'll be told to leave, or any combination of those.
Oh, Ichiran. Oh, I've never heard this. If there is a store that doesn't allow foreigners to enter, it's not because they don't like foreigners, not discrimination, but because they don't think they will get in trouble because they cannot speak English. If it's an old grandmother store like this one, it might exist.
Number 5. Don't talk on trains. The volume of your voice is extremely important in Japan, as
yeah.
everyone is hyper aware and very respectful that they share their space with others. That means talking loudly or speaking on the phone in trains is a definite no, and you should avoid it as best you can.
Oh, this is exactly what it sounds like. But be careful because somehow old ladies are allowed to talk and their voices are very loud. It's very annoying you when you sleep in the train.
Number 6. Proper chopstick use. This is a big one because chopsticks are used to eat almost everything in Japan. The main things not to do with your chopsticks are not to eat directly from common dishes, always take the food and put it on your plate first and then eat it, don't point chopsticks at people as is considered very rude, don't cross them and don't leave them sticking out of a rice bowl as that is part of funeral ceremonies, and don't rub your chopsticks together after you break them apart because that's rude and disrespectful to the chef, by assuming he purchases poor quality chopsticks.
I think so. I've never heard that rubbing chopstick is a sign of disrespect to chef. If you rub your chopsticks, Japanese people will just look at you as a little weird. Also, this is so important. Ramen shop basically only have the chopsticks. So if you cannot use chopsticks, you cannot eat delicious ramen. But for those people who cannot use chopsticks, here is a great tip. I can tell you. This means children forks are available at every restaurant. So if you cannot use chopsticks, you can ask for this one.
Number 7. Don't wear shoes in the house. Like most people, the Japanese don't want the dirt from outside getting in the house. They take it one step further though and provide slippers and shoe cubbies at the front door. Even some restaurants will ask customers to take their shoes off before coming inside.
This is also common in other countries. I don't like to take off my shoes when I eat outside because my feet sometimes stink.
Oh my god!
Number 8. Drinking etiquette. This is a big one if you go out with any Japanese while in Japan. There are subtle rituals that show respect towards the person you're drinking with. The first is whenever you receive a drink, always receive it with 2 hands to show respect towards the person pouring. Also, never pour your own drink first as it's considered selfish. You should pour others' drinks and then put the bottle down and someone else will take it up and pour your drink for you. If you're not trying to get absolutely hammered, make sure that when you're done, you leave your drink full. Because the way it works is whenever someone sees an empty glass, they'll just immediately pour you another one. Things can get crazy pretty quickly if you're not careful.
Oh, this is important for working in Japan. In Japan, there is a tendency to have to respect older people. If foreigners knew about this etiquette, they would be surprised at in a very good way.
Number 9. How not to eat sushi. Fish have been the central part of the Japanese diet for centuries, and they've developed tons of different ways to better enjoy the fish. So it's not a bad idea to get to know some of them. The first mistake that most people make is ordering a bunch of sushi at once, instead of a little bit at a time, which they recommend. It's because the temperature of the fish actually matters, and you're supposed to eat it as soon as it comes onto your plate. That's why you sit right at the bar in most sushi places in Japan. The next big mistake that people make is dunking the rice directly into the soy sauce, which makes it absorb way too much. The correct way to do it, if you're going to do it at all, is to flip the fish over so that just the backside of the fish touches the soy sauce. This allows the soy sauce to enhance the flavor of the fish, but without drowning it out.
Oh. Yeah, it's true that my foreigner friends put a lot of soy sauce on their sushi. If you don't put soy sauce on a piece of fish like this video, you'll never know the true taste of fish.
Number 10. Don't expect to use your card. Japan is a cash-based society, and they're generally skeptical of credit cards. So almost every place that you'll visit will use cash. Don't worry though, because the 7-Eleven ATMs will work with any card and are open 24 hours a day. It's not unusual for Japanese businessmen to grab 30 or 40,000 yen before they leave the house. Like I said, everything here is done in cash.
Oh, a lot of people use credit card these days. However, most of Japanese people still prefer cash. Especially older generation doesn't trust the credit card. It is often said that Japanese is an agricultural nation and saved steady. while the Western is a hunting nation and prefers to invest in risky assets. In fact, more than 50% of the financial assets in Japan households are deposits or cash.
Last but not least, number 11, receiving business cards. This is another good one if you plan on meeting people while in Japan. When exchanging business cards, always receive the card with 2 hands and study it carefully before putting it away. Don't shove it into your back pocket carelessly, as it may be interpreted as being rude. It's best to carefully place it into your wallet to show that you respect them and the business they work for. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you, it means a lot. Click on the video on the top left to see what you should do while in Tokyo.
This is also quite important when working in Japan. This is because in Japan, there is a tendency to place more importance on appearance, such as job title. This is a not good custom. I don't like it. That's it. This is a little old video, so it's interesting to look back on it now. If you have any question about Japan, please leave a comment. Lastly, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and like me. いつもありがとうございます。バイバイ。